Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Habib Ali and I am an ICT tutor by profession. Welcome back to another lesson. So in today's lesson we are going to be learning about how to use the average function to work out the average or mean of a string of numbers. And also we will understand what is the meaning of average. So for today's lesson, I'm using the file called lesson 5 average function. And if you have completed all the way from lesson 1 to the last lesson, lesson number 4, then you will have completed and made a spreadsheet such as this with myself, which was a spreadsheet displaying all the popular day trips in Marmaris. We have so far understood how to use the sum function to work out the total sales. We then moved on to a multiplication formula to work out the revenue, and today we are going to be working out the average trip sales as well as the average monthly sales. However, you can get a copy of this exact same file by clicking in the description box down below, which today I am going to be demonstrating to you by using one of my previous lessons as an example. So if you go to the description box, so here is one of my previous lesson number 2. So if you scroll down and click on show more, so this is the description section for each video. So if you click on show more, what I have done is left you this link, and this link will take you directly to the relevant lesson in question. So for example, this being lesson 2, if I was to click on this link, this will then directly open up my website and in particular give you access to lesson 2. And on lesson 2, what I have done is left you a file here to download. So similarly for today's lesson, you can do exactly the same thing, and this will take you to lesson 5 on my website, and you will be able to download this exact copy of this file, so you can also work along myself or use this spreadsheet to do exactly what I am going to be teaching you in today's lesson. Okay, so before anything else, as usual, let's go ahead and look at today's question. So today's question is asking us to work out the average sales made for the quad bike safari trip and then replicate down for the other trips. Second part of the question is to work out the average sales made for the April month and then replicate across for the other months. So I've kind of underlined these two words. There is a reason for that. So in this sense, we are replicating down, and then here we are going to be replicating across. So let's have a look. Now firstly, what we need to do is understand what is average or what is an average function. So in this cell today, we are going to be working out the average trip sales. So for example, we need to know what was the average sale for the quad bike safari, i.e. what we are trying to do is work out, okay, all these sales we made across from April all the way to September, but we want to know what is the average sales. Now, if you do not know the meaning of average, in mathematical terms, we also refer to the word average as finding the mean of a range of numbers. So for example, in the mathematical world, generally what we do to work out the average is we will add up all these numbers. So we will do 50 plus 67 plus 55 plus 87 plus 77 and plus 99, and then divide by the number of values in question. So for example, in this example we have 6 numbers, so we will add them all up and then divide by 6, and by doing that we will get the average figure or the mean value of this range. So this is what average means. I hope this is clear, because if you do not understand the meaning of average, then by doing an average function will not make much sense to you. Therefore, you do need to understand what is the meaning of average. Okay, so that's out of the way. Now let's go ahead and make a start on this average function. So first of all, we need to work out the quad bike safari average sales throughout the month from April all the way to September. Now I am going to ask you, and I am also going to be typing in every single, well, not every single one, the very first one in this range and also the very first one to work out the monthly average sales, and then we are going to be replicating. At this present moment in your learning, I do not want you to use any other method other than typing in the full function for the first one. So let's go ahead and make a start. We always start, if you remember, by using the equal sign. Once you have typed in the equal sign, Excel knows that you are going to either put in a formula or a function, and every time we type in a word, we actually refer to them as functions. So in this case, this function is called the average function. So what we need to do is type in the word average. Once we have done that, what we do is open the bracket. Once we've opened the bracket, what Excel is now asking us, okay, what numbers do you want in this range or this series of numbers that you would like to work out the average of? So in this particular one we are working out, we need to know the average sales or the average value of this string of numbers starting from 50 all the way to 99. But remember, we don't use the values, we always use the cell references. So this cell, the address of this cell is C4. So what I can do is type in C4. Once I've typed in C4, you can see straight away Excel will identify that particular cell, just in case you have mistyped the cell reference, which I think is a very clever thing for Excel to do, and is definitely very helpful for us. After that, we type in the colon, which is the two dots. Please don't forget, the colon is very important. If by mistake you type in the semicolon, it will not work. So please do take care when putting in the colon. Once we have done that, all I have to do now is tell Excel, okay, in this range of numbers, what is the address of the last cell that I would like to include in this range? So the last address, which is September, this value 99, the address of this cell, as you can see, is H4. So all I have to do is type in H4, and straight away what Excel does, as you can see here, it identifies the full range of cells that I am asking it to use in this average calculation. Now visually I can see straight away this is correct, and I'm happy with that. All I have to do now is close my bracket and press enter. Now when I press enter, I should get my average quad bike safari sales that I have made for all the months from April to September. So let's have a look. There we go. So the average sales I have made is 72.5. So in the formula bar, you can always see the average function that I have just typed in, but in the cell itself, it will display the average trip sale. So for the quad bike safari, we made 72.5. Once you've done the first one and it is correct, and please do double check, because if it's not correct and then we move on to replicating this into the other cells to work out the average sales for the other trips, then if this one is wrong, the rest will also be wrong. So please do have a double check just to make sure. I'm going to do that right now. So by looking in the formula bar, I've got C4 all the way to H4, so I can see C4 all the way to H4, so that is correct. Absolutely fantastic. Now I can move on to replicating down into the other cells. Now if you remember from the previous lesson, lesson number 4, which I introduced how to replicate formulas or functions, all I have to do, now I did give you 3 methods. So out of those 3 methods, I prefer the double click, which is a lot quicker. In particular, if there is quite a few cells for this formula, or in this case this average function, to be copied into. So all I'm going to do is move my mouse over this little square and double click, and it will automatically work out the average sales for all these values. Now I'm just going to quickly just change some of these decimal places into 2 decimal place, or even actually 0 decimal place, which I prefer. There we are. So we've made 73 for quad bike, and then 36 and 44. And now remember, all these are average sales for each one of these trips for all the months from April to September. So this was replicating down because the cells that we needed to copy into was beneath it. Now the next section I'm going to move you onto is to work out the average monthly sales. So in this case we want to work out, okay, in the month of April, what was the average number of sales we made for every single trip. So it is a very similar process, and again, remember, I'm going to type in the whole thing. So equals average open bracket, and this time I'm not going to be actually typing in the cell range because it is a small range. So what I can do is simply click and drag the range in front of me, and Excel will automatically include them here in, as you can see in front of you, within the brackets. All I have to do now is close the brackets and simply press enter, and I will get my answer. There we are, 31 point so many ones. Again, I'm just going to change these to 0 decimal place, so I don't see any point and then so many numbers after it. We do refer to that as decimal places, but we will learn that in another lesson, please don't worry. So now what I can do is replicate across. So what I want to do this time is use a different method for replication. Again, you have learned this method in the previous lesson. So I'm going to move my mouse over the tiny square, as you can see on the bottom right hand side, and I'm going to click and drag across this time because these are the cells which I want my function to be replicated into. Once I've gone to the last cell, I can let go and it will automatically populate these cells with the correct average function. I just want to show you now a couple of them. So if I click on this particular one, I'm looking at the May average monthly sales, you can see in the formula bar that it has actually included the correct cell references. In particular, you can see column D, so D4 to D12. Now column D is all about the May month, and also on this side here, if I take you to this bottom one here, for example, you can see in the formula bar that it has included the row number 12, so C12 all the way to H12, which is these cells here, and these are the correct ones to be used. And also remember, just like any other formula or function, if any of these values change, so let's say in September by mistake we put 99, the actual sales, let's say it was 19. So if I change the value of this cell, you will notice that the total sales will change, the revenue will change, as well as this average figure will also change. So let's have a look. I'm just going to type in 19 and press enter. There you go. So this one changed, and this one changed because we are using cell references, and by using cell references, every cell is connected to each other. There is a relationship there, which is an amazing thing. So everything is recalculated automatically. We don't need to worry about anything like that. And finally, I just want to say to you that the average function makes our life so much easier because it can work out the average a lot quickly and a lot easily without any difficulty on our part. Excel is very clever to do such calculations. And this is the end of today's lesson. So please don't forget, if you have any comments or any questions, please do leave them in the comment section and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, please don't forget to like and share this lesson and subscribe to our channel if you have not done so. And I shall see you over in the next lesson. And until then, please do look after yourself and a big goodbye to you for now.